Okay, let's unpack this. You've shared some really fascinating material about this project called Taobao Village in China.
Yeah, it's quite something. We've got two sources, an article from an IT journalist, pretty detailed, and
Yeah.
then a big report from Alibaba's own research team.
Right. So we're diving into how e-commerce, specifically, Alibaba's Taobao platform, is affecting rural China, trying to tackle poverty in some, well, pretty innovative ways.
Exactly. It's about connecting the dots, technology, business, social impact.
So our mission today really is to get the core concept of these Taobao villages, look at the highs and lows, the successes and challenges, and see what it all means.
And having these two different viewpoints, the
Mm.
journalist's storytelling and Alibaba's data, that should give us a pretty rounded picture.
Absolutely. So the first article, it introduces Taobao Villages, started by Alibaba back in, what, 2009?
Yeah, 2009. The idea was poverty alleviation in rural areas.
And Alibaba steps in, provides the internet, the logistics infrastructure, basically coaches villagers on running online shops, selling local stuff on Taobao.
Right? Local specialties. And the scale is, well, significant. Over 5,000 villages now, out of maybe 500,000 in China.
Wow, 5,000. And some are doing huge numbers, like over 100 million yuan a year. That's about, what, 15, 16 million US dollars?
That's right. Serious revenue for a village.
So beyond those big numbers, what's the core idea here? How does e-commerce scale up social impact like this, especially in a country as huge and diverse as China?
Well, the key, I think, is leveraging what's already there, that massive Taobao marketplace, and connecting these remote places directly to, everyone.
Yeah.
Customers everywhere.
It bypasses the old problems, right?
Yeah.
Geography, getting things shipped out.
Exactly. It just smashes those barriers. And the scale shows how one platform, if it's designed well, can become this huge economic engine for areas that were, pretty much left behind before.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting, for me anyway. The journalist points out this isn't really framed as charity.
No, not pure charity.
Yeah.
Jack Ma, Alibaba's founder, apparently sees it as a for-profit venture.
Right. He believes that's what makes it sustainable in the long run. Kind of like Grameen Bank's microfinance idea, or that OLPC laptop project.
It's a model we've seen before, yeah, using business principles for social goals.
So the article asks, why this approach? And what actually happens? What are the success stories, and where does it fail? It's a compelling point, the sustainability thing.
Definitely.
But are there downsides? Could that profit motive sometimes maybe push the social goals aside?
Well, that's the classic tension, isn't it?
Sure.
With any for-profit social enterprise, you've got to balance the money side with the mission. And yeah, there's always a risk. The drive for profit could, in theory, lead to decisions that maybe don't serve the community's best interests, even if they boost revenue. We'll probably see hints of that tension later.
Okay, so let's look at the second source, the Alibaba report. More data-driven.
Yeah, this gives us the big picture numbers. Confirms the growth over 500 and 400 Taobao villages by 2020 across 28 provinces.
And that's a big jump from the year before. Plus, over 1,700 Taobao towns.
Right, towns are clusters of villages. And get this together, villages and towns, they hit over 1 trillion yuan in annual transaction volume.
1 trillion yuan. That's just staggering. What does that actually mean for rural China's economy? How does that stack up against, normal local commerce?
It means a fundamental shift. It's a massive injection of capital into these areas, completely new opportunities.
Compared to just selling at the local market.
Exactly. Traditional rural commerce is often limited, right? Local markets, maybe some regional distribution. This opens up the whole country, potentially the world. The growth potential is just exponentially higher.
And the report also mentioned something important. These villages and towns are spreading into central and western China, including those officially designated poverty-stricken counties.
Yes, and that's key. It suggests the program is reaching the places that arguably need it most. It's not just sticking to the already better-off coastal regions.
So it's having a real impact on poverty.
It seems so. The report highlights that a lot of these villages in the poorer areas are focused on selling agricultural products online. That's a direct link, isn't it? E-commerce access, improving farmers' livelihoods.
Okay, to really get a handle on this, we need specifics. The journalist talks about Alibaba's Jack Ma Bank, Zhejiang Wangshang Bank.
Yeah, the microloan part.
Right. It operates with really low profits, deliberately, but has this huge number of borrowers, over 12 million, way more than big traditional banks.
And it's all automated. The 310 model.
Explain that.
3 minutes to apply on your phone, 1 second for approval and the money to arrive, and 0 humans involved in the decision.
Wow. One second. How?
It's powered by their credit scoring system, Zima Credit, or Sesame Credit. It uses all sorts of data to figure out creditworthiness, even if you don't have a traditional banking history.
Like a digital reputation. That's clever.
Very. And it means farmers who couldn't get loans before, now they can, for higher value crops, or maybe replanting after a flood or something.
Okay, so how does this rapid microloan thing directly fuel the Taobao Village system?
It's absolutely crucial. It provides the cash, the capital that these rural entrepreneurs need to get started or to grow.
To buy inventory, maybe upgrade equipment?
Exactly. Or even just invest in better photos for their online shop. It removes that big financial hurdle that traditional banks often represent, especially for small, rural borrowers. It just gets the wheels turning. Investment leads to growth, which leads to more investment.
A virtuous cycle. Okay, so with that microfinance piece in mind, let's dive into some actual examples. The success stories.
Right, let's see it in action.
The journalist mentions Zhejiang Village in Hubei. It was officially a poverty village back in 2014.
Yeah?
They had local turquoise deposits, so they leveraged that, became a Taobao Village, started selling turquoise online.
Smart, using a local resource.
And apparently, income shot up. By 2019, sales were over 200 million yuan. They even set up an e-commerce poverty alleviation center with live streaming studios.
Live streaming studios in the village. That's quite the setup.
Yeah, and there are individual stories too, like Zhang Chenli, who came back from Shanghai, used live streaming to boost sales, and this older guy, Zhang Lejun, apparently quite quiet, became this popular uncle influencer, selling turquoise via live stream, earned over 1 million yuan.
An uncle influencer, I love it. What strikes you about that transformation?
Well, it's how they took something unique, the turquoise, and just plug it into this huge online system. It unlocked the value, didn't it?
Absolutely. E-commerce, making geographically specific things accessible everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And the influencer part. It shows the human side, how individuals can find their niche, even older villagers, and really thrive. The Alibaba report actually flags Zhejiang Village too, specifically for live streaming success.
There's another villager mentioned, Tu Tao. He live streams from his chicken farm.
Okay, chickens.
Selling chickens, yeah, but also other local stuff and projecting pretty substantial income. So is it that rawness, the, unfiltered view of the farm? Is that the appeal compared to some slick ad?
I think that's exactly it. The Alibaba report calls it original ecology, live streaming.
Original ecology.
Yeah, it taps into this desire people have for authenticity, right? Connecting directly with where the product comes from. Seeing the chickens running around, hearing the farmer talk genuinely, it builds trust. It's just more engaging than a polished, maybe impersonal commercial.
Makes sense. Okay, another success. Feiwei e-commerce in Jiangsu. Handmade flower pots.
Flower pots, okay.
They used to rely on physical stores. Then the pandemic hit. Big crisis for them.
Right, lockdowns would have been tough.
So they shifted online, started live streaming. The owner became a bit of a known figure. And after the initial lockdown lifted, online sales just surged.
Just took off.
So much so they couldn't keep up, had to switch to pre-orders, and their workforce grew dramatically. It shows how this Taobao Village thing can be a lifeline for existing businesses too, not just starting new ones.
That Feiwei example is great. It shows the resilience you get with an online presence, especially when things get unpredictable.
Like a global pandemic.
Exactly. They pivoted, used live streaming to build that customer connection, and didn't just survive, they boomed. The Alibaba report actually features them too as a pandemic success story, that reverse growth idea they mentioned.
Right, reverse growth. But the journalist rightly points out it's not all success stories.
No, there have to be challenges.
There's an example of a village near Chengdu. They became a Taobao village selling cheap casual wear. They already had some sewing factories there.
Okay, leveraging existing industry.
But then it got popular, got attention. Outsiders flooded in, competition got intense, and it became all about rock-bottom prices and, well, poor quality.
Oh, a race to the bottom.
Pretty much. Consumers turned away quickly, the outside businesses left, and the village mostly went back to its old wholesale ways. Became a forgotten Taobao village.
Ouch. Forgotten.
So the takeaway is pretty clear, isn't it? Just being on the platform isn't enough. Success needs more. It needs something unique, quality, the ability to compete beyond just price.
Definitely. What really went wrong there, do you think? Beyond just more competition?
It feels like they lacked differentiation, right? And that focus on quality wasn't there.
Yeah, if you're just selling generic stuff based on price, anyone can undercut you. They didn't build a brand or customer loyalty or a reputation for being good. Nothing to make them stickier when the competition arrived.
which kind of illustrates that point about needing effort, innovation, quality. And it loops back to Jack Ma's idea, maybe, that the for-profit aspect, even if it's tougher, forces that drive you need to survive and sustain.
It does seem to support that idea, that market dynamic, the sort of survival of the fittest. It pushes businesses to adapt, to improve. The platform gives the opportunity, sure, but long-term success, that depends on the villagers themselves, their ability to innovate, build brands, offer real value.
So let's widen the lens again with the Alibaba report. It talks about the growth of billion-yuan villages.
Right, those hitting over 100 million yuan annually, so significant economic powerhouses emerging.
And again, it notes more of these villages and towns popping up in central and western China, the less developed regions, which reinforces that poverty alleviation angle.
These billion-yuan villages.
Yeah.
It shows the model can create serious wealth, not just basic poverty relief. But what does that concentration of success tell us? Is it spread evenly?
That's a good question. Does massive success in a few villages lift the whole region, or does it create new kinds of inequality?
Yeah, it raises questions about equity. Are the benefits shared widely? We need to understand why those top villages succeed, right? And can those lessons be spread around?
The report also emphasizes these e-commerce-driven industrial clusters forming and moving beyond just basic labor-intensive stuff towards more tech-intensive sectors. That's interesting. What kind of tech sectors in rural villages?
Well, it could be things like using data analytics more cleverly for farming, maybe, optimizing crops or supply chains.
Yeah.
Or maybe businesses spring up around e-commerce itself, like local firms doing digital marketing or specialized logistics just for the Taobao sellers. It points towards a more skilled, more diverse rural economy, not just sewing or basic crafts.
And it also mentions integrating e-commerce with other industries like tourism and agriculture, creating new value, strengthening rural brands.
We saw that with the Zhejiang Turquoise Village having studios, right? That integration seems really key for like holistic revitalization.
Yeah. Beyond just getting visitors, how else does linking e-commerce with tourism or farming help?
It makes the local economy more resilient, more diverse.
Yeah.
Think about agritourism. You visit the farm, see where the stuff sold online comes from. That boosts the brand, creates another income stream.
Right. And the online platform gives visibility to the tourism side, too.
Exactly. They feed off each other.
A key trend in the report, live streaming again. Huge growth within Taobao Villages.
Yeah, a significant chunk of merchants are using it now, driving big sales.
The report distinguishes between that original ecology style we talked about, authentic rural settings, and more professional setups.
Right. Two different approaches.
The fact that so many are doing it shows real digital adoption, doesn't it? Entrepreneurship taking root. What are the pros and cons of those two styles, original versus professional?
Well, the original ecology style has that raw charm, that authenticity. Great for building trust, showing where things come from, especially food or handicrafts. The personality of the seller is key.
And the professional.
More polished, better lighting, maybe slicker presentations that can be better for higher value items, or things that are more standardized, where you want to convey quality and reliability. They appeal to different people, different products.
The report highlights live streaming works really well for non-standardized stuff, like jade, crystals. Shaying again, makes sense. Video lets you see the unique details.
Yeah, that immediacy, the interaction, it's perfect for things that aren't all identical.
What else works well with live streaming, do you think?
Things with unique features, maybe limited editions. Artisanal goods. Fresh produce, where the seller can show you how good it looks right now. And you can ask questions. It builds a bit of a community feel.
The report also stresses how resilient these villages were during the pandemic. Many had reverse growth, remember?
Yeah, like Suiting County's fishing gear industry, or Zhejiang City's agricultural e-commerce. Their existing online setup let them basically weather the storm.
Why were they so much better off than, say, regular shops?
Because they already had the online infrastructure. When physical stores closed, supply chains got messy. These guys already had their digital shop fronts, their logistics networks humming. They could still reach customers when Main Street was shut down.
And that flower pot company in Zhejiang County is another example used in the report for this resilience.
Exactly. It just shows how vital that online channel is now. Relying only on a physical shop.
Yeah.
Well, it makes you vulnerable. The flower pot story shows e-commerce isn't just a nice-to-have. It can be a lifeline and even open up new growth.
Okay, finally, the Alibaba report details the increasing sales of agricultural products through these villages. Lots of villages hitting significant sales volumes.
And they cluster, right? around specific products, like flowers in one area, crabs in another, leveraging those local specialties.
How does that clustering help?
Economies of scale, mainly, and shared knowledge. If everyone's growing the same thing, you might develop better sorting tech together or figure out the best way to package that specific fruit for online sales. Leads to better quality, efficiency, stronger branding as a group.
And the report mentions geographical branding too, like Westlake Dragonwell tea, Wuchang rice,
Yeah.
getting famous nationwide through the platform.
Yeah, building a reputation for the whole area based on its star product.
That must have long-term benefits, right? Getting known nationally like that.
Huge benefits. More demand, potentially better prices, which feeds back into the local economy. It can attract investment, even talent. And it helps keep those unique local traditions alive.
The report explicitly ties all this growth, Taobao villages and towns, to poverty reduction in those national-level poverty counties, gives specific examples, shows the impact on income.
And it notes merchants are using more data products too, making smarter decisions.
What kind of data helps them?
Things like sales trends, who's buying, what's popular, how efficient the shipping is. It helps them decide what to stock, how to price it, when to run sales. Moving towards more data-driven business, even in rural settings.
And this final idea, most beautiful Taobao villages, moving beyond just money, integrating environmental and cultural development.
Yeah, a more holistic vision, right? Not just about sales figures.
What might that look like, a most beautiful Taobao village?
Maybe investing in eco-friendly farming or preserving local crafts and promoting them online, using the platform to showcase cultural tourism. It's about creating a place that's economically prosperous, but also environmentally sound and culturally rich. A whole vibrant ecosystem.
So when you pull it all together, this deep dive into Taobao villages, it's a really complex, fascinating picture, isn't it?
Definitely more than just people selling stuff online.
Yeah. It's this massive experiment using market forces to tackle big social problems with, amazing successes, but also important lessons learned.
The mix of microfinance, the e-commerce platform itself, trends like live streaming.
Hmm.
It paints this picture of really dynamic change happening in rural China.
And that emphasis on the for-profit model for social good, that's a huge takeaway.
It really is. It makes you think about sustainability, motivation, how it differs from traditional charity.
The success stories, like the turquoise village, the flower pots, they show it can work incredibly well, lifting whole communities.
But then you have the cautionary tale, the Chengdu Garment Village, a reminder that it's not automatic. You need that constant adaptation, that focus on real value.
And the Alibaba data provides that macro view, right? Validating the scale, the reach into poorer regions, the sheer volume of transactions, the jobs created. It speaks for itself about the economic impact.
And the integration with farming, with tourism, that suggests a broader approach to rural development is emerging, not just online sales in isolation.
The rise of live streaming, the use of data, those feel like really key developments too.
For sure. It signals these rural entrepreneurs are getting more sophisticated, understand their customers better, and that most beautiful Taobao Villages idea. It hints at this bigger vision, doesn't it? Economic, social, environmental well-being, all linked.
This whole Taobao Village phenomenon, it's just such a compelling case study. Anyone interested in how technology can drive economic and social change should look at it.
Absolutely.
It really makes you wonder, could similar models work elsewhere? What are those absolute key ingredients for success we saw?
And looking ahead, as these villages keep evolving, keep integrating into the global digital world, what new challenges will they face? What new opportunities might pop up?
Definitely something worth mulling over. Maybe something for you to dig into a bit more on your own.